welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to film a video about my deaf story and kind of my experience with being diagnosed and everything in between. This is my second time filming this because I didn't like the first time, but anyways, let's get on with it. So, I didn't get diagnosed I was deaf until I was 6 years old. I was 6, nearly 7, so I was in year 2 at school. How did I get diagnosed so late? Well, I guess I've always been really good at hiding it, and still to this day people forget that I'm deaf, and if I tell them I'm deaf they don't believe me. They're like, no way, you don't look deaf, you don't sound deaf. Like, these are all common things like people say to me all the time. So yeah, but I got diagnosed when I was 6, and how that happened was, I think the school nurse came to my school and noticed that my hearing test, like my hearing ability isn't where it should be, like it was. So she recommended to my parents that I go to the audiologist, and so that's where I went. The process began. I went to the audiologist, and the audiologist person was sitting in front of me. I was with my parents, so I was here and the audiologist was there, and they were like talking and making noise all in front of me, and I was responding, and so they thought, nah, nothing wrong with her, she's fine, she's probably just like selective hearing or something. And so my dad was adamant, like, no, there's something wrong, like she has to have the TV really loud and she sits so close to it, like there's something wrong. So he said to the audiologist, it's because you're sitting in front of her, she can like lip read you, like she knows what you're saying. And so they went behind me and then done the same, and I wasn't responding, I wasn't understanding because I couldn't lip read. And so then they recognised, okay, maybe she's deaf. And so I then went through the process of getting hearing aids, and now the moulding process and getting it all fixed and created and everything took about 6 weeks, so it was a long time. And so the first time I got my hearing aids fitted, the audiologist decided, no, that doesn't fit right, like the mould in the ear is too big, so they decided to do it again. And so I had to wait another 6 weeks for them to get it fixed. And so by the time I got my hearing aids and I got diagnosed, I had adjusted to the sound that I could hear, and I had created my own ways of being able to cope, I guess you could say. And so when I put my hearing aids in, I didn't like it. I didn't like the sound, it was too loud. I just hated it. I hated all the background noise, all the conversations, all the and everything I couldn't hear before I can now hear, and I didn't like that at all. Just didn't match. I just hated the sound. So I kind of decided I just stopped wearing them, and my parents couldn't force me because I was 7 years old by the time I had got them, and so it was like, it's not gonna happen. So yeah, I never really wore them, and so that wasn't a problem. So when I was 7 in year 3, I got my first teacher of deaf. Her name was Helen, if I remember correctly, and I really liked her because she was good. Like, she took me up lesson and she assessed what I can and can't hear with lip reading, without lip reading, and like it was like really fun time. I liked it. And then when I was in year 5, it changed to a new teacher of deaf, and yeah, it wasn't that good. Like, she saw me for 5 minutes maximum, that's it, and then she left. And I'm not like even exaggerating, it was really just like 5, maybe 10 minutes maximum. So yeah, which meant that I wasn't being supported, I wasn't getting any help or anything. And I wasn't, it just was really bad. And that carried through to secondary school. I had the same teacher of deaf from year 5 to year 10. And in year 10, she decided to stop seeing me. I don't know why. She didn't come and support me at all through my actual GCSE year, nothing. She didn't support me through college, even though she phoned house to say what I was doing, like sixth form or at college, and I went to college. So she never saw me, never got any support. To be honest, I grew up in mainstream school and I never really had any support at all, nothing. They always used to say to me, sit at the front of the classroom, sit at the front of the classroom, and honestly that didn't help, and it was so frustrating when I would get told that, because it just doesn't help. Like, it just, unfortunately, due to the lack of support in college and the intensity of the course, I chose an extended diploma in level 3 health and social care, and I had to drop out because it was struggling and it was just going through fast, and it was just poor organisation and everything, and I just wasn't getting supported at all with nothing, and so I dropped out. But I did complete 1 year, so I have a level 3, just not the extended diploma, you know. So yeah. With the audiologist, I've fallen through the system, so I haven't had an audiologist appointment since maybe I was 13 or 14. No, probably about 12 or 13, about that age. And then when they just stopped giving me appointments. They just stopped, because normally they send you appointments, or they send you a letter to book an appointment, and they never give me one again after about 12 or 13 or so. So yeah, I think about 12, you know. And so when I was about 14 or 15, like my just finished my GCSE year, I went to the doctor to get a referral to go back to the audiologist, and they said they sent the referral, and I was chasing it up for a year. They said, yep, sent it. And apparently the audiologist never received it, because they sent it to the hospital in my local area, but we have like a specific audiologist unit in my town, and they never sent it there. They sent it to the hospital. They said they never received it, and so they referred again, and they gave me walk-in clinic times, and I was in full-time education. I was in college, and then I just gave up because I didn't want to go to a walking clinic where I would have to wait for hours and possibly not even get seen. So I wanted an appointment, and so I just gave up, because I just give up. Like, I've never really been supported, so why would they start now? It's so frustrating. So from the age of 6 to about 10, I wasn't involved in the deaf community. I didn't really know anything about deafness. I just was in my own little world, and I only knew of one other deaf person, that was it. And so I joined the Phoenix group for deaf children and hearing impaired children. I joined it, and my brain went in deaf awareness and sign language. I started learning sign language with them when I was 11, and I still obviously do it now, so that's 7, nearly 8 years of signing. And so ever since then I've just kind of been like, deaf awareness, I know what I need now. So I was able to sort of say, I need this, I need this, I need this is what I need to help. But I still never got it, like anything. Like, I asked for a radio aid, I got that, it didn't help because I just didn't like it in the end. I thought it might help me wear my hearing aids, it didn't, just didn't match. In school I never got the help really. So yeah, that's unfortunate. But yeah, the deaf group I went to was literally amazing, because they helped me with so much: independence, job, life skills, like everything, travelling to London, just being independent, and it really helped me in my life, be able to get where I was. Unfortunately I wasn't really able to help with the educational side of things, like with school. but they definitely helped outside of school. I guess one of the first possible memories I have of possibly sort of being deaf is when I was walking home with my mum from the shops. I was about 4, and I was on my Barbie scooter and just scooting along, and we was coming to a road. My mum was shouting at me, telling me to stop, shouting, "Emma, Emma," and I'd already scooted out into the middle of the road, and I couldn't hear her shouting at me. Like, I don't remember, but she told me that she was shouting at me. I remember like going into the middle of the road, looking up, and I just see cars, looking back, and I see my mum like but I just didn't hear her shouting my name. I was like but we never really thought anything of it. And when I was like in nursery, I taught myself, or so I'm told, like I taught myself how to lip read. And so when my mum or anyone would talk to me, I would stare at them like really focused, and I'd tilt my head because I'm super focused, and I'm like they're talking away, and I'm like focusing on that lip. So that was one of the earliest memories I have, which is always like strange. I guess they thought I was such a weird person, child, anything like they didn't know, because I don't think they know any other deaf people before they met me, which is a very like common thing for hearing parents. They don't know any deaf people until their child is born. So yeah, that's something. And we don't know why I'm deaf, how I became deaf, if I was born deaf, what like caused it. Really, they don't know anything about that. I've been for blood tests, MRIs, like scans, and they came back with they don't know why. It's just a strange thing. My parents believe that it's possibly the MMR jab, and having looked into it myself, I don't really think it's that, but they think it's that because I became ill after, but not like seriously ill. I just became a little bit ill from the jabs, but I don't think it was MMR. I think, and I like to explain it as a medical, like a medical mystery. I think it's fun to explain it that way. But yeah, I never had speech therapy, and a lot of people will find that like, what, you've never had speech therapy? Yes, I know I have a very clear, well-spoken voice. I think that's because I was born hearing, and I'd learned to talk. Don't really know what's happened a lot is that people forget that I'm deaf, and they treat me like a hearing person, so like they're not deaf aware, and they don't face me. They try and talk to me through walls, or if they've got their mouth covered, I can't see what they're saying, and yeah, so that happens all the time. Or they don't believe that I'm deaf. When I say that I'm deaf, they're like, no way, you don't look deaf, you don't sound deaf. And yeah, that's a really common occurrence. Just strange. But then again, my deaf experience is a strange one, and I don't really know any other person who has like a similar experience with like diagnosis and things like that. So if you know someone who has a similar experience, or you yourself have a similar experience or whatever, please let me know in the comments, because I'm really interested to know. But anyways, yeah, I hope you liked this video. I'm gonna say bye. I hope I haven't left anything out. If you have any questions also, let me know in the comments about deafness, sign language, anything about my story. Just let me know in the comments, and I will respond to them. Because I like talking about my story. I mean, it's good for other people to know that they're not alone if they've had a similar experience. But yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.